Hello, my friends. This is Rabbi Aharon Dobinsky coming to you today from the holy city of Yerushalayim in the beautiful state of Israel. I have something special for you today. I want to ask you a question. You're in the United States. Just in the United States, and you want to make a trip, and you want to go to St. Louis. Where do you go? How do you get there? Oh, I haven't told you where you're coming from. You're right, I haven't told you where you're coming from. You know where you're coming from, I don't. But don't you think it's an important ingredient to decide where you're going? If you don't know where you're coming from, how can you figure out how to get to where you're going? They are important, they are interconnected, they are essential to you making the proper choices. So, last week, we finished the fourth book of Torah, Bamidbar. And it went through 42 different stops that the children of Israel made from the way from Egypt to the Holy Land. Why? I mean, these have all been mentioned before. It's not that they're new. Not the first time we've heard about most of these places. Many of them had something connected with them. We remember them very vividly. Some not so much so. But they're each important. Why? Because each stop took us closer to our end result. And isn't it important to know where you're starting from so you can figure out where you're going to? It's extremely important. There was a song that came out in the 1980s. Most of you I know weren't alive then, but it was called, Do You Know Where You're Going To? Do you know the things that life is showing you? Now it's just a song. I mean, it's nothing special. It was on the top 100 or whatever way they have of measuring them. It was by a famous artist. But the questions can be haunting. Do you know where you're going to? Do you know the things that life is showing you? That's why we talk about all the 42 stops and things that happened along the way that we needed to remember. And we still do that today. What do we have on Sunday? Well, it's actually Saturday, but we celebrated on Sunday. We have Tisha B'Av coming. Now, Tisha B'Av was a time of a lot of misfortune for the Jewish people. A lot of misfortune. 2 temples gone. The expulsion of the Jews from Spain. And what started it all? The bad report of the Meraglim, of the spies, who in essence slandered what Hashem said. He said, go into the land. It's yours. I'm giving it to you. I mean, I don't think a promise gets any better than that. That's as good as it gets. You have the word of the creator of the universe that it's okay to do this, and he's going to back you up, and he's going to make it so that you can take care of this. Well, that's as good as it gets. And then you come out and you say, no, it's not. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. A lot of people are going to die. It's a sad situation, and we really shouldn't be doing this. And 10 out of 12 said that. And that is what set everything in motion. Hashem basically told them they would not be going into Israel, nor would any of the people over the age of 20 years old at that time be going into Israel. Why? Because they had a slave mentality. All their lives they'd been slaves. They came out of Egypt, they went through the desert, they saw 10 unbelievable plagues against the Egyptians. They saw Egypt turned upside down. They have the 10 Commandments. They got food for nothing in the desert. They got quails. They got the man. They got everything they need. Their clothes didn't wear out. They stayed with them. They grew with them. They didn't wear out. They stayed clean. They had water to drink, food to eat. My friends, what else do you want in life? You just came out of over 200 years of being slaves to another people. And Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, took all these people, over 3 million, estimates could be as high as twice that. All these people out from the middle of a country. I want you to think about that. If you live in the United States particularly, think about this. Think about 3.some million people, taking everybody outside of the state of Rhode Island and moving them someplace else, moving them to Canada, moving them to Mexico, moving them out to California, moving them anywhere. First of all, what a task this would be. The amazing amount of people coming out and what they're going to do. How are they going to have everything to eat, to drink, to keep clean, etc., etc., etc.? Well, when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, they didn't have that problem. They didn't have any problems. And perhaps that was part of the problem of why they didn't believe the word of Hashem over the word of 10 men. At the time of the Meraglim, they didn't believe. They didn't have the emunah. What is emunah? Emunah is faith in things that you can't see, touch, feel. They're not necessarily things that are available to you in dimensions that you are aware of. So you take them on faith, for a better word. Emunah, faith. And that's what you take them on. And so what happened was, by the time they got to the point it was time to go into the land of Israel, Hashem looked down and saw they weren't ready. They weren't ready. If you had just seen all the things that they saw, I'm not talking about somebody told it to you from a story. I'm talking about you lived through it. You lived in Goshen, and you watched while the mightiest country in the world gets clobbered with 10 of the most awesome plagues you could possibly imagine, to the point where they go, Uncle, we give up, please just get out of here and go away. You saw this. You saw Hashem giving the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. You saw the well of Miriam that followed you through the desert, that gave you water. You saw man coming down every day to feed you. You saw quails coming in when you complained that the man was making you tired. It was the same old thing every day, day after day. Instead of saying, thank you, which would have been appropriate, for feeding us in the middle of the desert where there is nothing but scorpions and snakes, which are not kosher, so we can't eat them anyway. But anyway, all these things that happen, instead of saying thank you, what do? We complain. Right up to the end, where it's time for us to enter the land of Israel. And 12 of the most righteous men of Israel go to explore the land, and 10 come back with bad reports, in spite of the fact of what Hashem said. So he reminds us at the end of this book, because the next book is a lot of it is just a big reminder of what's gone on so far. But for right now, this is the end of the end of the book, Bamidbar, in the desert. And Hashem looks down and he sees that people aren't ready. They're not ready. And he reminds them, we did this, we went from here to here, we went from here to here, we went from here to here, we went from here to here. Why? Why this tedious reminding? Because every step of the way, we made mistakes. Sometimes we learned, most times we didn't. But we made mistakes. And we had to learn from that. Because even though we, as the older generation, would not be able to go into Israel, our children would. And we would teach our children so that they know. Do you know what a horrible feeling it had to be as they got closer? And they were getting ready to go going through the desert. And children of Israel every year, those above the age of 20, would go out and dig their graves in case this was their year. Think about that. That'll really give you a different kind of sense of reality. So that when you tell your children what it's like, what's happening, what's happened, where you are now, they can get an idea of what's ahead. What to do, what not to do. Learn from my mistakes. My tati, Alav Sholem, Zechola Brocha. My tati used to tell me, don't do mistakes your own way and make your own mistakes. It's painful. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. It'll save you all that aggravation, all that pain, all that heartache. And that's what I would tell all of you. We need to learn from where we've been. Remember that where we stand today is a sum total of every single decision and action we have made all of our lives. We don't have to go back and remember each and every one of them. But there are points. And most of us know where those points are. Most of us know. We can go back to it and say, ooh, that was a mistake. I won't do that again. Ooh, that was a mistake. I won't do that again. Ooh, I did something really good here. I need to concentrate on doing that again and again and again. These are the things we need to do. So as we come into Tisha B'Av, the saddest day of the year, we fast from night before, right after Shabbos, until the next night. It's a time for reflection also. We can't read Torah. We can't do anything of pleasure. We can only do things that will remind us of things that we've done wrong so we can improve them in the future. Let's reflect. Let's take advantage of this. Let's take this time to reflect on where we came from, where we are, and most importantly, because of all of that, where we're going. My friends, have a good Shabbos. For those of you who will be fasting at Tzom Kal, a very easy and meaningful fast for Tisha B'Av. We'll see you next week. God bless you all. You be well. All the best. Bye-bye.